Hi everyone, welcome to JavaScript coding challenge. In today's video you have to find the below code output, and the question is you have four functions a, b, c and d, each is having a particular action. Function a, which is printing a and it is returning false, b prints b and it is returning true, function c, it prints c and it returns 5, and function d, it prints d and it returns 2. And finally you have to print the value of an logical AND operation expression, and where it is actually checking whether c is greater than d, that is the first expression, and logical AND is applied, and the second expression is undefined logical OR, b function is invoked, logical OR, and a function is invoked. And there are four options. You have to check the order as well, how it is getting printed, and the first option is b, c, d and true, and the second option is b and true, the third option is c, d, b and true, and the fourth option is c and b. So please try from your end and see what is the output you are getting. So let's try from our end and see what is the output we are getting. I have this particular script available in the test.js file, and I am calling this script from the index.html as you can see here. So let me run this and make sure that everything is running fine. So I'm just running that, and just let me open the console. So before I'm displaying the console, let me comment this out, okay, for the moment, and we will see it later how the action it is getting printed. And let me refresh the browser and open the console. So everything is running fine now. So now in this particular question we are using two logical operations. One is the logical AND and one is the logical OR operation. So we will understand more about both these logical operations. So first one is the logical OR operator, and it returns true if and only if one or more of its operand is true. So at least if one of the operands is true, one of the expressions is true, in that case it will be returning true. Otherwise it will be returning false. If all the operands are false, it will return false. And it is typically used with boolean values, and it returns a boolean value in that case. But however, if one of the it is actually used, it returns as value of the one of the specified expressions, okay. So if it is used with non-boolean values, it will return a non-boolean value. We will see more about that. And we have a logical AND operator as well we have used, and it returns true if and only if all the operands are true, okay. All the operands needs to be true for a logical AND operator, otherwise it will be returning false. So we will see that both in action, okay. So first is the console.log of okay, I will take an expression scenario for logical AND first, okay. In this case what happens, we have two expressions, okay. One is the 5 greater than 0 and the next expression is 3 greater than 0, and a logical AND is applied. So both these conditions, both these expressions are evaluated to true. In that case what will happen, it will be consoled as true, okay, as you can see here. And if in any case if any one is false, okay, if any one is false, in that case what will happen, it will return false. So all the expressions has to be evaluated to true in case of a logical AND. In that case only, even if it is like -1 greater than 0, and instead of the second expression is true but the first expression is false, in that case as well it will be returning false. So all the expressions has to be true. And what happens if it is logical OR? In this case what happens, the first condition is false but the second condition is true. So if any one of the expressions is evaluated to true, in that case it returns a true. So for a logical AND, all the expression has to be true, but for a logical OR, if any one of the expressions is true, in that case it will be returning true. And okay, now that is regarding logical AND and logical OR. So now coming to our question, it is checking whether the first expression is c greater than c function is invoked, and it is checking whether it is greater than d function. So what happens, okay, so first if I go for c, I am invoking c, and then I am in calling d, and I am checking whether c is greater than d. So in c what happens, it is console.log of c and it is returning 5, and d it is printing console.log of d and it is returning 2. So what is the value of c? It is 5, and what is the value of d? 2. So 5 greater than 2, so it has to return true. So we will see that in action. So it is invoking C and D and it is checking. Okay, so it is true. You can see here it is returning true. And what happens, both the consoles are actually getting printed, because what we are trying to do, we are actually invoking this particular function. So meanwhile it will actually print C and it will also print D, and it is returning true, which is the result of 5 greater than 2. Okay, so it is returning true as well. Okay, so 5 C, D and true. Okay, so now the first expression is evaluated. Okay, now it is returning C, D and true. And what happens to the second expression? Okay, so we will see the second expression. In the second expression, it is trying to check undefined logical OR and logical B and logical A, logical OR of B and logical OR of A. So what happens if it is an undefined? Okay, so console.log of undefined logical OR of logical B is actually returning true and A is returning false. Okay, so what will happen? So as you can see here, okay, it is returning B and true. Why it is returning that? We'll see. So undefined, okay, undefined actually it will return false, but logical OR applied to a B operation. Okay, so B is what it is doing. It is console.log of B is getting printed, and B is actually returning true. So as far as logical OR is concerned, if any one of the expression is returning true, then it will be returning true. So in this case, an undefined logical OR of B. So here itself, what happened? B has been returned, returning true, and then what will happen? So it will be doing a short circuit. Okay, short circuit evaluation is the short circuit evaluation. Okay, short circuited. So the rest of the expression is not executed. So a function will not be invoked. It is short circuited. That means whenever a function, okay, whenever a function or an expression is returning true, in that case it will not check for the other expressions in case of logical OR. Okay, so in that case what happens? The short circuit, it is short circuited and a function is not invoked, and as a result, so the answer will be like C. So in this case what happens? C, D and true, and here now it is like B is returned and then return true. So finally whatever both the expressions evaluated, so that only will be returned. So in this case what will happen? The answer would be, okay, so now I will just uncomment this and I will comment this out for the moment. Okay, so logical OR, it is short circuiting and it's just invoking B, and in this case the answer that is going to get printed is, okay, C, D, B and true, the final result, that is which is provided by, because logical AND, okay, logical AND, it returns true if and only if all the operands are true. So here this was also true and this was also true, and hence the final result that is actually returned. Okay, the final value gets returned by the logical AND, and hence the answer is C, D, B and true. Okay, this is not the order in which it is getting printed. Here also we have all the values B, C, D and true, but the order is also very important, as I mentioned initially. So the answer in this question is C, D, B and true. So you can explore more on this logical operations, and there are many other logical operations that is involved. We will explore more on the coming questions. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Thanks a lot for watching.